And even that might not be enough. So what a lot of smugglers offer is like a kind of installment plan that you can pay off once you're in the US. Half of your paycheck goes to the smugglers until you pay off the cost of coming to the US.
And if you don't pay?
Well, it's really bad for you.
Like they go after your family or something?
Yeah, it's bad.
Matolote says it did not used to be so expensive. Like 16 years ago, he says he would charge $50 to get somebody across the river. Back then, he says it was mostly Mexicans crossing, so there was no like package deal. You just came up to the border and you got crossed.
But what happened in the last decade or so is that migration started coming from Central America, from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. People so desperate to escape the violence and the poverty that they were willing to pay more.
And the drug cartels caught on. They started seeing these people as huge business opportunities. Also, the U.S. border got tighter. Put all that together, and you have this perfect storm. In the last couple decades, he says, the prices have just shot up.
So we finished our meal, and it was getting dark, so I picked up the check, said goodbye to the big fish, and I drove back to Texas.
Okay, so back to Patty, the woman you heard from at the beginning. This is the really difficult decision she was facing. Do you spend some enormous amount of money and hope that you make it to the United States? Here's the rest of her story, and just a warning, this part gets rough. Also, Patty is her middle name. We are not using her full name here.
Patty tells those guys at the coffee shop, no thanks, I am staying in Honduras. But her friend is considering it. And later in the week, those guys show up again.
One of them came over and started flirting with my friend, and he started telling her to convince me to go to the U.S., that it was for a better future, this and that. They started saying very sweet things to us.
In the end, Patty decided, okay, let's do it.
Patty doesn't have any money, of course, to pay for this. And the guys say, no problem, we're going to put you on one of those installment plans. When you get to the U.S., you're going to work and you pay it all off.
The guys told her, look, we are leaving tomorrow. So Patty went home. She packed a suitcase, told her mom what she was planning to do, said, take care of my daughter, please. Her mom got really worried, started crying, but Patty said, look, it's okay. I'm going to be talking to you real soon.
Patty told me she made it okay to Mexico, but she had a bad feeling the whole way there.
Her walkers were always whispering to each other. They didn't give them any food to eat.
And then in Mexico, one of them, this guy with a big, poorly sewn-up gash across his eye, turns to Patty and to her friend and says, I want my payment for the trip right now.
And Patty's like, wait, that is not the deal. We agreed to pay the trip off by working in the United States. We don't have any money.
And I
tell him, how am I going to pay you? I mean, how? With what? Well, he says, I think you're not a little girl, are you?
Patty and her friend were told they each owed $3,000, and they were going to have to work it off as prostitutes. The guy who said he was the walker locked them in a brothel and put them to work.
Fue más difícil la vida.
Okay. Tranquila, ¿quieres agua?
Patty says her friend just refused to become a prostitute, and she disappeared after that. She's not sure what happened to her. She thinks she might have been killed. Patty was told that she now had to pay off her friend's debt also, which meant that she owed $6,000.
So it's hard to know how often this happened, but I did reach out to lawyers who told me they see a lot of cases like Patty's.
There is the smuggling business, and there's also the sex trade business. They can start off looking really similar, but they end up in very different places. She ended up in a brothel.
Patty told me at the brothel she kept track of how many customers she had.
I made a mark with a stick on the wooden part of the wall, each time, each one. I never forgot.
I asked her how many marks she made on the wall, and she says a lot.
This went on for about 6 months, and then one day Patty was sold to another trafficker who finally smuggled her into Texas. But then they held her at another brothel. This one was in Houston. She thinks she was there for about 4 months.
At that brothel, Patty befriended the madam, who eventually started giving her money here and there. And of course, the money was useless to Patty because she wasn't even allowed to leave the house. She was locked up. So she would store it away in this jacket that the madam had given her.
Una chamarra azul.
A blue jacket. Because sometimes it gets very cold, she told me.
And then one day the madam asked Patty for a favor.
¿Quieres ir a la tienda, miss?
Do you want to go to the store, she said. Yeah, sure, I said. This is my escape, I said to myself.
The madam asks her to buy some stuff, a gallon of milk, some juice, and she says, while you're at it, buy yourself a little skirt and a blouse with some cleavage. And Patty is super nervous. She puts on the blue jacket.
Y me dice, te combinan con los tenis azules.
And she tells me, they match your
Sí,
shoes.
¿verdad? Le dije yo así.
I told her,
Un pantalón.
yes, don't they?
But before Patty leaves, her madam tells her this one last thing.
Me dijo, no te vayas a tardar mucho, me dice, ni vayas a hablar con nadie, me dice.
She
Porque
told me
aquí,
not
me
to
dice,
take too long.
nomás te ven
And she
ustedes
told me,
y te echan
don't
la
talk to
migración,
anyone.
y te vas
Here
a
in the
ir, te vas
US,
a volver
even if you
para
look a
allá,
little
me
funny, they
dice.
call immigration police.
Y allá tú
And you're
sabes
going to
que te
get
van a
sent back
esperar,
there
me
to your
dice,
country.
aquí
And you
no
know
me
they
vas a
aren't going to
esperar.
wait for you back in Honduras. They're just going to kill you.
Patty walks outside, and there she is, in America, on her own, with a jacket filled with money. She remembers it being cold.
Estaba frío.
That was in December.
Eso fue
I
en
cannot
diciembre.
forget. On December 23rd, I escaped from that house.
Patty goes to the store, and her plan is buy new clothing, change into it, run away. But instead, she has a panic attack. She has this total breakdown. And one of the employees, a woman, walks over to her and asks her if she's okay. And Patty insists, please leave me alone. Please don't talk to me. Do not talk to me. And the woman pushes and says, where are you from? And Patty says, I'm from Honduras.
Le dije, yo soy de Honduras, pero me van a llevar. Si usted le habla a la policía, me va a llevar, le dije yo así.
And
Me
if you
dice,
call the
"Aquí nadie
police,
te
they
va
are
a
sending me
llevar", me
back.
dice la policía.
And
"Sí,
she
a mí me
said,
dijeron que sí".
No one is
Me
going
dice,
to
"Ya".
take you back.
The people in the store are incredibly nice to her. One of them even gives her a place to sleep. And that's how she finally escaped. Patty lives in Houston now, and she works cleaning houses.
Patty, though, is facing this whole difficult decision all over again right now because her daughter is still back in Honduras. She's 14 years old, and she really wants to come to the United States to be with her mom.
Now, the idea of her daughter coming to the U.S. and making this trip is terrifying to Patty. But things have gotten a lot worse in Honduras since Patty first came. And Patty also thinks if she's going to do this trip, her daughter should come soon because Patty thinks her daughter's more likely to get amnesty if she comes as a minor.
Patty has been looking into it, and she's been quoted a price for how much it would cost to get her daughter smuggled into the United States. And it is low.
Way less than what Big Fish said it ought to be. He said a minimum of $15,000, and the price Patty has been quoted is $8,300. Matalote says, no way does that sound legit.
It is just really hard to know. This is like the opposite of a transparent marketplace. It is really hard to get good information about what you're getting.
I've spoken to some people who have told me they paid in the neighborhood of $8,000 to be smuggled into the U.S. recently, but there's no way to know. Patty says she trusts this smuggler who's a family friend, and she says he's giving her like a special discount.
So maybe things would be okay. You just don't know. Patty says she is still not sure what to do. Even if she decides that her daughter should not try to come, she's not sure she can stop her.
Ay, esa está loca.
She's crazy for me to bring her here. She's crazy. She says she no longer wants to be there.
Patty has never told her daughter what happened to her.
Which, I get. I mean, that is a hell of a conversation to have with your 14-year-old daughter.
Yeah, it's also a hell of a conversation not to have.
Let us know what you think. You can send us email. We are planetmoney@npr.org. Special thanks today to Felix Solis and Lisa Fernandez, who did the voiceovers for us. Our show today was produced by Nick Fountain. Oh, and let's mention your podcast, Jasmine.
Yeah, All Latino. It's a music show about Latin music.
We're always supposed to say something else about something jungle rhythms.
A psychedelic cumbia?
Yeah, what is that?
It's like this like mix of surf rock and Amazonian cumbia.
That sounds awesome. I'm David Kestenbaum.
And I'm Jasmine Garst.
Thanks for listening.